Well, Lewis, a wonderful race today, a wonderful season in 2020. The floor is yours. What would you like to say? How do you sum it all up?
Honestly, I think, my dad used to always tell me to do my talking on the track, so I don't really have a huge amount to say. I just hopefully that performance hopefully shows what I'm capable of, and ultimately capable of what we could all do together, I think. And in a sense of like young kids out there, I think it's important for them to see, I dreamt this when I was 5 years old, to be here in Formula One, and it's so important to hold on to your dreams, to dream big. I think for all of us, doesn't matter how old you are, and it's taken a long time to get here, but I'm forever grateful to the guys that have helped me, my team, for believing me, for Ron, for taking me on when I was a kid, for Mercedes, who continued to support me all the way from 13 years old till today, and particularly to my family, so grateful to them. I think this, I hope they're celebrating.
Lewis, many congratulations on this remarkable achievement.
Thank you.
You've mentioned there about your family, and I know you're very close to your dad and your family. Have you had a chance to speak to them yet? And if you have, what have you said to them, or what have they said to you?
I haven't had a chance to speak to anybody. Unfortunately, I literally just got my phone as it changed, and there's a lot of messages there that I haven't even opened yet. So. My family's all been supportive. I think before the race, my mum messaged me, but I didn't get to open it because I was rushing to get in the car. But I know I have so much support, particularly from my family. Even if we don't talk, but I hope that they are feeling fulfilled. Because, well, like I always say, my parents sacrificed so much for me to be here, and I never take that for granted. And what the things that we faced, the challenges that we faced, and the dream that we had, and the people, the things obstacles, and like people saying that we wouldn't be where we are today. I think hopefully I've earned the respect today, and there's more to do. This is not, obviously this is a world championship, and it's the pinnacle of my life so far, but there's a much bigger win that we all collectively need to work together towards, and that's pushing for equality, that's pushing for equal opportunity for all these kids that are out there, so we can create a better future. But that's going to take us all doing it together.
Congratulations, Lewis, on a great drive and a great achievement. You've made lots of powerful statements against racism this year, but you becoming the most successful racing driver ever is possibly the most powerful of all. What does that mean to you, and what message do you think that sends out to the world?
Well, it's obviously no secret that I've really walked this sport alone as any black person here or the only person of color here, and it's a really interesting point. That the fact is that as I'm biracial, whilst it's the term of the black driver here, I'm biracial, and I think this colorism that people should perhaps read about, but I think that hopefully shows, when I was younger, I didn't have anybody in the sport that looked like me, and so it was easy to think that that's not possible to get there, because nobody of your color has ever been there. You don't see anybody on TV that's any black people on TV that are in Formula One. So, but I think hopefully this sends a message to the kids that are watching. Hopefully they've seen that performance today, and hopefully they can see that it doesn't matter where you come from. I think whatever your background, I think it's so important to dream big. And if you are looking at places, industries that you don't see someone of the same background as you, or the same ethnicity as you, or with the same religion, create your own path. because that's what we did. That's what I've been able to do, and it's been so tough. Tough doesn't even describe how hard it's been. But I hope that sends that message. That's the most important message for kids: is to dream as big as possible and not give up.
Congratulations, Lewis. I've got a couple of questions, actually. First thing I'd like to do is just take you back to when you finished the race. You seemed to have an emotional moment. I wondered if you could explain what was going through your head at that time.
I very rarely do I ever lose control of my emotions, and I think those last few laps, I remember those last few laps, and obviously we're having that discussion whether we're going to pit, and I was just telling myself, keep it together, Lewis, you got this, and I could feel it getting closer, and also knowing that if I finish where I'm finishing right now, that I've got this championship. And so all these emotions were running through me, and I was trying to stop it, because I was thinking about all my whole career, from when I was 5, when I drove in the go-kart, from when we won our first British championship, driving home with my dad singing we are the champions, and dreaming of being here, and it's right there, minutes away. And that was a lot to take in. And when I came across the line, I think it really hit me, and I just burst into tears, I think, that whole in-lap. And then I really couldn't get out of the car because I just couldn't believe it. And I just, I think for me, I've been very strong, but I couldn't have done it without, the great man behind me, my dad, who on the days that I didn't think that I was good enough or I wasn't going to do well enough, he stood me up and kept me going. So I was thinking of him, I was thinking of my mom, I was thinking of my stepmom Linda, my brother, who have all stood by me through this thick and thin. So, yeah. And I didn't want the visor to come up and people to see tears flowing and all that stuff, because I kind of had always said that I would never let never let you see me cry, because I remember watching other drivers in the past crying, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. But it was too much.
First of all, many congratulations, Lewis.
Thank you.
Incredible achievement. To follow up on what Scott asked earlier, the manner you achieved this today with the win, and I think Sepp put it pretty nice. He said it wasn't your race to win today. You're the most successful driver in Formula One history, but there are still a lot of critics out there and always say you're just winning because you have the best car. Today you showed that's not the case. How important is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I want more of these weekends. More tricky, there's more tricky conditions like this. The more opportunities like this, the more I'm able to show what I'm able to do. And I think today, hopefully, you can see. I think I deserve my respect, and I think I have that with my peers. I think they can see how hard they will. Know how hard today is, particularly, and know that it is not a car thing. However, I couldn't have done this without that amazing group of people behind me. But there is another great driver who's alongside me who has the same car, who obviously I didn't finish where I finished. So I do notice there were these interesting comments from past drivers, particularly. I really, really promise you that and hope that I stand by my word. When I stop in 10, 20 years from now, when I look back, I want to be embracing and encouraging the next youngsters that are here, whether it's Lando, whether it's George, whoever it may be, whether it's Max, I know how hard it is to be here. I know how hard it is to do the job. I know how this world works. Of course you have to have a good team. Of course you have to have a great car. There's no driver that's ever really won the championship in the past without it. It goes back the same all the way down to karting. You've got to have the right equipment. I remember my first championship. I raced, and the kid that won was on rocket engines, which Jensen Button's dad tuned. Those engines were real rockets. Like compared to the cheap, crappy engine that I had, that was fifth hand. There was no way I could keep up with these kids. And I remember that one weekend he was moving on to at Kim Bolton in 1992, 1983, and he was moving on to the next class. So he was selling on these engines. And I remember my dad had to remortgage the house to get this 2,000 pound engine. But what we did that day was that me and this kid who had been winning everything, we put his other engine that I was going to buy, that we're looking to buy, in my cart, and I was ahead of him all the time on track. So of course you've got to have the equipment, of course you've got to have it, and that's something that will always be in this sport. But then I think it's also what you do with it that really also counts, and hopefully you can see that today.